Hey everyone, and welcome to another week of Libertarians at Large. My name is Eric Rautzep, and this is where we discuss the week in the news and express a libertarian point of view for the goings-on in our nation and abroad. We welcome your comments and your questions in the chat box, so feel free to comment regularly. We may share your comment on the air. This week, I am joined by my fellow at-large members, Laura Ebke and Valerie Sarwak. And we have a special guest coming, but she's just going to be of one more moment. And we'll announce that in just...
All right.
Coming here in just a second.
So how is everybody? How's the weather where you're at?
Oh, gorgeous here. Our temperature today in North Carolina was 74 degrees. And for the first time since 2019, we've had 10 days in a row without rain.
Oh my God.
It's beautiful.
We had it was 75 here the other day, and it was beautiful. And my crocuses are coming up in the garden and everything. And it was cooler today. It was 55, and it's supposed to. They're talking about snow this weekend. My trip to Cheyenne has been canceled. I was going to be out there this weekend, but they're expecting historic snow out in Colorado and Wyoming. So it's like, I don't think we'll be going.
No, it's a nice place, but you don't want to be stuck there for that long.
No.
How's the weather by you, Valerie?
Oh, it was so nice. Oh my gosh. It was 70 degrees today. And then I started getting spring fever, and I'm on Amazon. We need patio chairs, and we need this, and we need that. And then I looked at the weather forecast, and we've got snow like 3 times in the next 10 days. I'm like, oh, forget it.
Yeah.
I love snow. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's easy to get. It's easy to get tricked into this false sense of spring.
Mm-hmm.
You get this chunk of time. For those of us who live in cold places, right, where it can get cold, it's you get this sense that, spring is here. It happens in early to mid-March, and it's in the 70s, and the crocuses come up, and you see the little nubs on the daffodils starting to come up, and you think, hey, it's going to be spring, and then Mother Nature slaps you in the face again and says, nope, not quite.
Just kidding. Wait till May.
That's right.
So without any further ado, let me announce our special guest. This week we are joined by... my mind's just gone crazy. This week we are joined by our Region 7 alternate, Erin Adams. How are you doing, Erin?
I'm good, man. How are you? I'm really sorry. I really apologize for being late.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, we're just talking about weather right now. I mean, we're just kicking it.
So
how's the weather in Oklahoma?
Mother Nature hates Oklahomans, clearly, right? We surpassed California in earthquakes a couple years ago annually. So between the earthquakes, the tornadoes, the ice storms, and the prairie fires, Mother Nature's kind of got it in for us. So it was 80 degrees last week, something like 60 yesterday. It could potentially be 45 tomorrow. We just never know.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I can't believe that.
It's sort of like if you don't like the weather, wait a few hours,
5 minutes?
Yeah, sometimes.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they say that about North Carolina, but it sounds like it's more true in Oklahoma. My goodness.
There was one year we had horrible ice storms and went from the ice storms to a tornado that hit one of the safari places. So there were ice storms, tornadoes, and tigers. It's kind of like living in Jumanji.
Wow.
But it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, I bet. My gosh. So what's everyone been up to? I mean, I know this has been a busy week for everyone in the Libertarian Party. We just got done with the LNC meeting, which we held as a special meeting. How's everyone feeling about that? I mean, we covered a lot of bases in that meeting, and we actually did it rather efficiently. So or at least in my opinion, what's everyone else's opinion about that?
That was a long meeting.
It was.
It was a long meeting, but I do think that we were productive, and we got the things that we needed to get done. And that's what it's really, I mean, I've got a different view of meetings than some people, but I think that the idea of a meeting is to get the business you need to get done. And beyond that, it's all it's something else.
What's
I
your
feel like
opinion?
we got
What's
a
your take
lot
on that?
done. Do I feel like we got as much done as we maybe did in Minneapolis? No.
I mean, we
didn't.
foregoed our officer reports in large,
And
there
committee reports.
were a lot of things that we really needed to discuss that we didn't because we held it as a special meeting. So I
I
totally
gotta tell you,
agree.
like as a committee chair, still kind of having the expectation that I get a report in on time for a meeting where nobody's going to read the report. I don't know. I'm a little salty about that.
Yeah,
If I had to write it, y'all should have to read it. That's all I'm saying.
Or listen to it, right?
Or at least listen to it. And there was action that the Convention Oversight Committee was asking the LNC to take that did get put into that report that the LNC didn't hear to even be able to take that action.
Yeah.
That's why I asked just to have 5 minutes, because I didn't think, and I'm kind of new still, but I didn't think that there was going to be any committee reports because it was a special meeting. And so I just said, just give me 5 minutes because I think it's important to say, we're so far ahead in fundraising. And that was basically all I wanted to say. It wasn't even a report. It was just like a brag. But if I put that in a report, nobody would read it.
I mean, this time it won't, it's not that big of a deal, right? That report will keep. You guys will get another one. So for our June meeting, right? Everybody's going to end up with these two reports stacked. Both reports will be asked in the committee for some things. But as we move on, for my committee, at least for this committee, it's a big deal if stuff sits for 3 months.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's a huge problem, especially when I sit on the convention committee with you.
Yeah.
And, there's everything's time sensitive. That I mean there is a hard deadline to get Reno up, running, and right.
Right, and it's not just that committee, right?
No.
Valerie's Affiliate Support Committee is doing some stuff that has to be handled in a very timely manner, right? Marketing and media, timely things.
Exactly.
So it is important. I think for right now, all things considered, I think that this LNC is doing a great job. I think we've kind of rolled with everything truly to the best of our ability without slacking, without shoving stuff up. No. But I do think that we're getting to a point that maybe we need to be leaders in kind of paving the way to returning to some type of normalcy and some type of business as usual. Maybe that needs to start with us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just on that aspect, I mean, in North Carolina, the where COVID vaccines go to die, we as of next week, as of Monday, I will be actually allowed to get a COVID vaccine without causing the hospitals to get a $5,000 fine. So interesting.
Is it because you're essential? I'm not asking HIPAA questions.
I'm essential, but not frontline essential.
Okay.
So, next week, because I'm a home inspector and considered part of the building trades and part of the real estate industry, next week, as of Monday, I'll be able to get the vaccine. So,
it's so funny to me how different that is everywhere. Because if you lived here, we're already into phase 4. So if you breathe, you can sign up.
Yep.
Jeez.
And in Alaska, it's the same exact way. Everybody in the state, as long as you're over the age of 16, you're eligible for the vaccine. But here in North Carolina, if you went to go get the vaccine today, you better still be over 65 until Monday.
So I don't know if you guys saw, it was just 2-3 weeks ago, they were kind of covering this on national news. Florida's regulations, right? Where anybody over 65 first, one of the first states, but literally anybody. So people were driving from New York, from Maryland, from Michigan to get their shots in Florida. And then you had Florida residents just pissed because they're watching everybody flood in. And they're like, wait a minute, what about us? It was so disjointed, and it's so different everywhere.
So when Alaska's been on, as long as you're over 65, over 16, show up, we'll get you the vaccine. They actually had to go back and change it after 3 days of running that because Canadians were coming across the Alaskan border in droves because there's no vaccines, or the vaccine distribution, especially to the Vancouver area, is so messed up that the Canadians were like, well, we're going to go to the United States and get a COVID vaccine because there's no plan for distribution in Canada whatsoever. It's amazing. It's absolutely ludicrous.
And then I saw something today about the COVID pill.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There is now, they're talking about a COVID vaccine that will be actually orally taken. That's still probably 2 years away from being released.
Yeah, they're in testing though. They've already moved into testing phases on it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the holy grail of COVID vaccines.
It's amazing. I mean, the RNA research and the RNA manipulation research that COVID has spurred is going to open up so many new aspects to medicine. RNA alteration, we could potentially see an HIV vaccine.
I mean, or your really, it's easy to say that, but RNA vaccination is not new.
No.
And RNA vaccines are not new. This really didn't spur anything other than controversy and conspiracy theory. These vaccinations and types of vaccinations have been around for a really long time. COVID is one of 37 SARS viruses.
Yes.
They're all very similar in the way they behave. There's a few differences, but they're all very similar. COVID was really good for conspiracy theorists.
Yeah, this is true. This is true.
On either side, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, viruses are nasty. And they do horrible things. This virus was particularly nasty and did particularly horrible things.
But I think that the fact that we're spending all this much time talking about vaccines. I'm fully vaccinated. Nebraska, I was able to sneak in, but my husband is a healthcare provider, so he got his early. But it's amazing the number of, in small towns especially, the small town hospitals would get their vaccines and then they'd have people not show up that they'd scheduled. And so they had to get rid of them. So if they'd have a list of people who could come in and be there in 15 minutes, And so that's how I got mine. But, the fact that so many people are so excited about having their vaccines shows just how deep the desire is to get back to normal.
Well, I mean, at the same time, though, we're talking about 60 to 80% of healthcare workers have refused the vaccine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody, I think there were only 2 people in Crete in our.
You're fortunate. National data, statistical data says 60 to 80%.
Well,
and that's my field. So
yeah. I mean, I think that it probably depends on where in the country, and I think, but the more people that get them in their arms. My daughter got hers the other day when the Johnson & Johnson came out. She's a teacher. And so she got her. So you're getting more and more people across different strata of the country who are getting them. And the fact that that's happening, even if there are people who opt out, and that's their choice. But even if there are people who opt out, that means that there's going to be fewer people to catch it, fewer people to spread it. And it will, these pandemics tend to burn themselves out over after a while anyhow. So, COVID or
because that's a virus's job is to stay alive, right? Yeah. And if you keep killing your host, you can't do that effectively.
Yeah.
So
but if
viruses mutate, it's what they do.
Yeah, and if you get enough people who are vaccinated, I see that the president is announcing that he did you see this? That he wants all the states to have vaccines open to any adult by May 1st. Huh? What?
Oh, that president. I was
the current president. Yeah,
crazy
he's going on TV. I think he's on TV right now. We're competing with all sorts of people. We're competing with Gary Johnson. Did you see that? We're competing with Gary Johnson doing something on Clubhouse. I don't know what that is.
Right.
About cannabis. We're competing with Joe Biden. I mean, we are
We have made this
We're
time.
not competing with Joe Biden. We are so much
Yeah.
better than Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Seriously.
But I mean, we are in prime time, you know,
Yeah,
and everybody else
exactly.
wants our time slot. You know,
We were here first.
That's
We've
right.
been here for months.
That's
Look,
right.
we were the first to jump in the game on marriage equality
Yes.
and ending the war on drugs and with quality entertainment.
That's
It
right.
just is. It is what it is.
Well,
Here.
Wholesome,
I like
wholesome entertainment, not.
Well,
We
I
don't
don't
claim
know
to be
if I'd go
called.
that far.
We've been called wholesome. We have actually been called wholesome. So behave yourself, Erin. You know.
You're asking a lot, man.
it.
It's been a hell of a month.
Yeah, it's we've had some great fan letters and fan comments and everything like that. So yeah, we have been called wholesome. I was just as taken back by that as you were, Erin. Though, yeah.
And we just keep milking it. You know, I think it's important to milk that every week. You know, just to remind people that we've been called wholesome.
Yeah.
So we've done it now. So.
There you go, wholesome Erin. Come on.
Mama, I love you.
Oh.
I saw that John Phillips is on here someplace too. He's watching. He behaved himself the week that he was on.
Yeah.
What's that?
You know, he was very. He was able to hold his tongue, and you know. So
He does that more
he
often
is. He
than
can be.
not.
He can be
Just
wholesome.
saying.
Man. He can be wholesome.
So more big party news. We now have an affiliate director.
Mm-hmm. Wait, affiliate director? Oh, is that what she's called?
Yeah, affiliate and outreach director. Isn't that her official title?
Activism coordinator.
Activism. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at you, Valerie, and I just think.
And I was like, is that what
yeah, no, activism. Sorry. Oh my god.
Yeah. Activism.
I feel horrible now. I got her title wrong.
That's a completely different job.
Yeah, exactly. I gave her.
But someday we'll have one.
Look at that. She can collect 2 salaries now.
That's next. That's just the next position that we fundraise for, right?
We need a position. We need somebody on staff to take charge of all of the committee roles. You know, I mean,
just one person.
One person.
No, a different person to take each role. We need to have a staff big enough that we can do that. That we can farm out the.
I would love that.
I mean, my dream is that we have the office in DC and an office somewhere in the breadbasket in the Plain States and another one on the West Coast and potentially satellite offices in Alaska and Hawaii, as well as each of the territories. They're all fully staffed. Functional, workable infrastructure that allows us to truly be visible in these communities and nationwide. I mean, that's the dream.
I would love to see our primary office in somewhere like St. Louis, which is the geographic center of the United States. I think that would be phenomenal.
And Little Rock, where the cost of living is the most economical in the country right now, and the cost of doing business matches it.
There you go. Yeah, no, I mean, that's, not only would that be fiscally smart for us, but it would also be very beneficial in a lot of different aspects. You know, I mean,
here's the thing too, it's doable.
And it's doable.
It's paid off a mortgage. We have a segregated building fund. A second office is doable.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely 100%. Should be something we're talking about.
And at that point, then we could also be, if we make that our primary location, that's where we would have our unemployment insurance based out of and all of our other insurances that we have. And that would all of a sudden become much more affordable as well. So it would be, even though we would have a national presence, it would be a net financial gain, even though we add a second or not a second mortgage, but a new mortgage. It could actually come out as a financial boon for the party. So I
know that's a hope and desire and project near and dear to my heart. We've talked about it.
Oh yeah, and it's near and dear to mine too. So you and I are 100% on the same page on
that. So David Valente, our colleague, his idea is that he'd like to have brick and mortar offices for the state affiliates. I mean, I think that's
that would be phenomenal.
Personally,
so I would love to see that too, but I don't believe that is the national party's role.
No, I agree.
I hope all the state affiliates get them and if you're watching and your state affiliate doesn't have one and you have extra office space in your office that you can donate to your state affiliate, man, be a hero.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree that that's not the national party,
You know,
the national party role. But I do think that it makes sense to have.
Hey, Fina.
Yeah, I like
this.
his idea that we create a libertarian Hawaiian retreat.
There you go.
I'll get on board with that.
Yeah.
How about the old LNC officers' home in Hawaii?
There
I'd
you
be
go.
down.
There you go.
You guys down?
The LNC retirement home. I like this. Oh.
We can dream.
I mean, yeah, I think it would be awesome if every state affiliate had a brick and mortar. And I know sometimes when we have those conversations at the state level, it's a whole lot of "Are you crazy?" and think of the overhead. And but look, I got to tell you, the old parties have them.
Yeah.
The old parties have county offices. They have precinct offices. If somebody wants literature, they want to go to the office. They want a physical place to walk into to get that information. And if you're not talking about that at the state level, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the states at least have state offices for sure that operate year round.
I think some of them do, but is it a lot really? Because I know Texas is just now talking about doing it.
I don't know.
The third largest delegation.
Well, I'm talking about the old parties. I'm talking the old parties.
Oh, the old parties. Oh, yeah, the old parties.
Yeah. But you know, I mean,
hopeful for a minute.
But in a lot of the rural areas, I mean, they do a like a county office that's for the election period. They don't keep it open all the time unless you're in some place like, you know, Chicago, I suppose. But we you know, we did that for my campaign last time around. We opened up a campaign office, which was bizarre, but we did it anyhow so that people could come in and, you know, pick up yard signs. And, you know, we had stuff for other candidates, you know, there weren't any others. Well, there were only one or two that were running that were nonpartisan. But I mean, you can, you know, we've got to learn to be creative in the way we handle some of that stuff. So see, Jared Hall says they have some county offices, you know, and they've talked about the state office. I mean, you can't do that until you get to a certain size and can afford, or you have somebody donate a building, you know. But it's
what
a
kind
good
of traffic
thing
did you get for your campaign office? Did you have people coming in?
We had a few. We weren't open. I mean, it was the office had the stuff. We didn't typically have volunteers there except for certain hours on the weekends. But it became kind of the staging ground for a lot of our canvassing efforts. So people would meet there and then we'd hand stuff out and then they'd go forth and conquer. Right. And, but we had all of our signs and T-shirts and stuff like that we stored there, but it was always open. So people could always come in. You know, I'd come in every once in a while and there'd be a check sitting on the table because it was open because there was a business in the back. And so they had to go through our area in order to get to this other business. And people would leave a check or they'd say, hey, you know, I picked up a few signs and, you know, so, you know, nice. you can be imaginative that way.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about opening a state office, one of your concerns is that you have to staff it all the time. You just heard from Laura Epke that maybe you don't.
Yeah.
And you can still be successful.
You have certain office hours where people can pick up things, you know, make sure you got somebody there sometimes. And it becomes a place where, you know, depending on how big the office is, it becomes a place where you can even have meetings and things like that too.
Good ideas.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, so I know actually like in New York, both of the old parties had offices and they would even rent them out as, you know, places to have your birthday party or, you know, I know as funny as it is, but no, it's amazing how many people actually rented the political party headquarters and, you know, had a birthday party or something like that.
People get married at Walmart, so
this is true. And up in Long Island, you know, there's a waiting list to get married at White Castle. So, you go figure, it's...
Yeah. You're into what you're into.
It doesn't have to be anything in particular, but, it's just, yeah. Oh.
I love reading some of these comments. What?
Yeah, I'm trying to read some of them now.
Yeah.
Some good people tonight.
And the comments,
automatic weapons in your shambles of a country. Oh, wow.
Oh.
I'm going to have to agree to disagree with you, man.
Jared actually says that my office was in a great location, which he came out and helped. So he knows it was a great office. David Valente likes Hawaii.
Well,
thinks that it's
hard not to like Hawaii.
I know.
During the winter months, I could definitely go and visit Hawaii. It's the summer months I couldn't.
Man, if you're gonna do it, go to the Big Island. Everything else is Detroit with palm trees. Go to the Big Island.
Yeah, sure. Well, and I've been to Hawaii once before, and I have to say I have become a huge fan of poi, and very disappointed that you can't get poi on the mainland. So
what about Alpea though?
What?
Where's Fina? Alpea, it's like a super light, really fresh coconut custard. And they use it to top a really lovely purple sweet potato pie sometimes.
So there's always Branson.
I mean,
who's in Branson? Yakov Smirnov.
The Osmonds used to be there. I don't know if they still are.
I have not thought of Yakov.
Ray Stevens was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
What a country.
My favorite gag from him is that he walked into the feminine hygiene aisle and saw Freedom, and he bought every box of Freedom that he could, and he sent it back to the Soviet Union.
That's funny.
Oh,
what
we should do that as a party initiative.
Right? There you go.
But let's send it to our congressmen and our senators instead.
But we'd totally mess up the market then. I mean, you'd have...
We'd inflate it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hawaii weather is the same year round. That's one of the good things. One of the bad things, though, since somebody wanted to talk about, too many automatic weapons, some wrong person. The bad thing in Hawaii is every piece of brass, every grain of gunpowder that's brought into any of the islands is traced and registered.
Yes.
Yeah, it's easier to do there.
Yeah. So there's that.
Yeah.
You know what time it is?
Banyan trees, and you throw a seed in the backyard and it grows. And
yeah, Rob just brought up the point that Denver's getting ready for snow, and that's why
I'm here.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Cheyenne tomorrow, but
yeah, for the Frontier Project.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well.
Lots of boating accidents in Hawaii.
Yeah, I just reading that. Maybe that's where Spike had his boating accident. Oh. I love the fact that he got that on Fox News. I just, oh.
He just managed to get a lot of stuff on a lot of different places that makes me really happy.
Oh, yes. But David reminds us it's 7:30.
Yep.
And you know what time that is.
Okay.
It's time for the New York Times news quiz. And then this wonderful face is the first thing you see. Mr.
I have
Nipple,
nightmares now. Thanks a lot, man.
right. Mr. Nipple Piercing himself,
Hey, don't have
Governor
nipple piercings.
Cuomo.
I always forget about that.
Oh,
Thank you for reminding
his
me.
love of ultra tight polo shirts during news conferences.
You shouldn't
will not
do
let
that,
you
you
forget
know?
it. Oh my
He's
God.
trying to make our nightmares worse, Valerie. That's what he's trying to do. Thanks, Eric. What a buddy.
This one, it's been blocked out of my head.
Oh Lord, this man is so much of my agita. It's not even funny. I despise what this man is doing to the state that I grew up in. Yeah. So 3 women have accused Governor Andrew Cuomo of inappropriate behavior, including sexual harassment. Cuomo has apologized, but he said he would not resign. What is the other recent scandal Cuomo is currently facing? Canceling of overnight subway service, closing the state border with Canada, failing to plow the city of Buffalo after a snowstorm, making too many appearances with his brother on the CNN show, and undercounting nursing home deaths during the pandemic.
It was nursing home deaths.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though this one would be true.
I mean, that one's also true.
Yeah. But that is not scandalous.
But the scandal, yeah.
So,
The scandal.
exactly. So yes, he is undercounting nursing home deaths in the pandemic. This does not surprise me at all. First of all, the fact that he has treated these women. Now, granted, only one of them has said that there was inappropriate touching.
Mhm.
The other 2 were purely verbal. But that doesn't make it right. It doesn't even come close to making it acceptable. His actions are reprehensible, and he's a disgusting human being, and this just goes further to prove
We
it.
knew that before this, though.
Well, I know. Yeah, I know. But this
Tell
is
us how
now-
you really feel, Eric. You know, I mean,
yeah, exactly. But this allows other people to understand what a disgusting human being this man is, and yeah. The funny thing, what I really find distinguishing about him is that he has something like a 32% approval rating in the state of New York.
Wow.
Yet he still got elected by a margin. I think his last election was 68% of the electorate actually voted for him. So
Jeez.
it's
really good at word salad, right?
yeah,
Mhm.
it's disgusting. President Biden said this week that the U.S. would have enough doses of coronavirus vaccine by the end of May to do what? Vaccinate all Americans. Vaccinate all Americans over the age of 65 and over. Vaccinate all American adults. Vaccinate all American children, or vaccinate all teachers.
the adults, right?
I
Yeah.
thought it was the adults, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
what I
positive.
thought too. I thought he said that it was vaccinate all American adults.
And then today he said it's May 1st, right? Not the end of May.
May
That's
1st is when they
correct,
want to
yeah.
have, yeah.
Yeah, he
Well-
changed his timeline. But last week he was saying the end of May, and then this.
No, they want to have them available. He's directing the states to make them available to all adults by May 1st.
Right.
So next week will it be?
So by the
first-
end of the month, everybody should be vaccinated, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anyone who chooses,
government efficiency.
yeah, right. It'll
They
be
can
like
do it. They can
next
do it when they
year,
want to.
maybe.
Okay,
Well-
so yesterday in Nebraska's legislature, they had a hearing on medical marijuana. Right, we are still the state that prohibits everything, right? And
I can't believe we got that in Oklahoma before you guys got that in Nebraska.
Yeah, I
it
know.
blows my damn mind.
yeah. So anyhow, the question came up. Well, if it's safe, why hasn't the FDA acted on it? Because we know that they can if they want to. All you got to do is look at the vaccines. And I was texting my friend whose bill it was, right? I'm texting her. I said the reason why is because there's no financial advantage to approving a plant where there is to the pharmaceutical company. She says, "Ooh, I'm going to say that when I close." Yeah. So
Yeah, it's because the lobbyists for the other side are more plentiful. That's
well,
why.
and they prowl the halls of government all the time, and they are there. They are the ones that are there and actually lobbying the FDA. I mean, they know the FDA procedures and such, but the whole I wish, I wish that I had the copy of the. Find Jared Hall's post from last night. What our governor had to say about medical marijuana, and if you legalize it, what happens? He says you'll kill your kids. That's literally what our governor said.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Well, I mean,
You're gonna kill.
What he's obviously doing is he's getting all of his news and facts from watching Dragnet from the 1960s.
Well,
because
it's possible.
you have that one episode in Dragnet where they're smoking the devil's lettuce, and she ends up drowning her baby in the tub.
Yeah,
it's so ridiculous. This is absolutely,
psychosis.
Joe Friday and Gannon would be very happy with your governor at this point. So this is what this is telling me.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, let's continue.
Also today, I know this is a week old, but also today he said, Biden said that he's going to expand who can give the doses. So dentists, vets.
I don't want a dentist giving me a shot. No. I'm sorry.
Shoot you in the jaw?
Yeah, no.
Veterinarians.
Because I go to the vet for my vaccine.
Yeah, right?
I mean, what the hell?
There
are some fetishes who would be into that, I'm sure.
They're used to injecting things too. I mean, sure, there's different muscles and blood vessels and nursing assistants and I think firefighters. Mm-hmm. But I would assume
I would hope at least they're EMT trained, but that's still not right.
My hometown has a voluntary fire.
Because EMTs cannot give you, even if you are prescribed your medicine, an EMT cannot assist in injecting that. Let's say if you're a diabetic,
nursing assistants in most states.
Right? Yeah, they can't even assist you in that, and you want them to give you the corona vaccine. No.
He just really wants everybody just shooting people.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyone who has ever injected anything can shoot somebody.
There you go. Why not make it the Toys R Us cashier? Oh wait, no, Toys R Us is
don't inject people, or they don't inject.
Why not the captain of the Dart League?
There you go. Exactly.
Why not your bartender?
He gives you a shot. There you go.
Right?
Enough.
I'd trust a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Right? There you go.
That's what it takes. At least I don't have to kidnap an elderly person anymore to get my vaccine. I can just go to my vet.
I still love that story.
Wow.
Oh Lord!
It wasn't a malicious kidnapping. It was for the good of both of us.
Yeah. Right. Come on, let's just be honest. You had a bottle of Geritol. You pulled it off. You shipped it out the window. You saw who'd come over. Open the door, grab them in, and go. I know how this goes. I know.
Get in, loser. We're going.
There's the new meme. It'll be out by tomorrow. Just wait.
Oh my God! Now I can just go to the dentist and.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
We'll see if by next week if that actually comes to fruition.
I God hope not. Yeah. I'm sorry. I was just no. Oh, okay. So let's continue. The Biden administration announced economic sanctions against Russia this week. What prompted these sanctions? The killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, Vladimir Putin's vocal support of a coup in Myanmar, the poisoning and imprisonment of Alexei Navalny, a Russian threat to boycott the Olympics, or new evidence of Russian support for Donald Trump's 2020 campaign.
I don't know. No idea.
I'm saying it's Alexei Navalny.
Not only do I not know, I can't think of anything I could potentially care less about. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, let's eliminate.
Okay, let's eliminate.
What would we not? What would it not?
The Olympics. Be? It's not the Olympics.
It's not the Olympics.
Right.
It's not Donald Trump's 2020 campaign. We
Correct.
wouldn't impose economic sanctions for that.
No.
It's probably the journalist, or
Myanmar.
it's either the
or
killing of a
poisoning.
journalist or a poisoning
I
of.
don't know.
It's got to be one of those two, right?
God, they poison everybody, don't they?
I'm saying it's Alexei. It could be Jamal.
I don't know.
Could
We're
it
getting
be
mixed
Viku,
messages
though?
from the peanut gallery, so I don't know.
Mr. Valenti says Navalny.
It's got to be.
Solomon says Navalny.
I trust them. Let's go with that.
McCutcheon says Myanmar.
Ooh. Anybody got a 20-sided die?
Apple Ducky says Navalny. I'm leaning towards Navalny.
Okay.
Because they literally poison somebody once a week, so that's
Yeah.
probably
It's got to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
There we
Navalny.
go.
I've never.
It's screwed up. I mean, we've talked about Navalny on this show before. The fact that Russia changed his flight plan because he had too many supporters, and all of that stuff. So yeah, no, that does not surprise me in the least. Which two of these states have among the lowest percentages of students currently attending in-person schools? California, Georgia, Maryland, Texas, and Utah.
My guess would be Maryland and California.
That would be
I would
my
agree
guess.
with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you going with that?
Yeah.
And we're right.
Hey.
So North Carolina started opening back up schools last week. The county I'm in is Durham. Our elementary school kids go back actually this Monday. So I know North Carolina is opening up pretty quickly as far as our schools go. How's everyone else's states?
We're back in my town and full time after spring break, which is like this month. So
See, this is why it's so tough to complain, because everybody's situations are different. Here in our town, the kids went back to school at the end of August, full time. In the bigger cities, in Lincoln and Omaha, they went back they did sort of a staggered, so it'd be like half on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, half on Tuesday, Thursday, and then they alternated weeks until Christmas, and then they're all back in school now full time, I think.
Yeah. Just
about everywhere. So I mean, it's really tough to, we don't all live in the same place, and so it's really tough. It's tough for me, for instance, to understand when people are complaining about lockdowns, because we've never really had it. So,
yeah,
and our rollbacks on restrictions on bars and everything are quickly rolling back in North Carolina now.
Yeah.
So.
Ours just did today. We have a mask mandate until March 26th. He did not lift that today. I think he's just going to let it expire. It's only like 2 more weeks. So he's trying to pander to both sides here. But retail is open 100% now. Bars can do darts and gift shots. And you can wait in the, I got a haircut today and I had to wait in my car, but as of today, you can wait in the waiting room. And I was like, ooh, look at that. I didn't just sit in my car. But our schools, our public schools are going back in person starting May 1st, which I think is kind of silly, but we go until like the end of June. So that's 2 months. And they're going back 4 days a week. But my kids go to a charter school and they've been in person since Labor Day. So it is what it is. I think they closed 2 schools, 2 public schools here, a elementary school and one of the high schools, I think, are closed, and they're just moving everybody to different schools because there's been such a decrease in enrollment. So It's only 2 more months. Get it over with.
So next question. The pace of the coronavirus vaccinations in the U.S. sped up this week, reversing a slowdown 2 weeks ago. What caused that slowdown? Anti-vaccine protests disrupted mass vaccination clinics in some states. The Biden administration paused vaccinations in some states to investigate fraud. The government withdrew authorization of the AstraZeneca vaccine because of data flaws. Moderna experienced widespread technical problems in filling its vials with vaccine doses, and winter storms delayed vaccine shipments and closed vaccination sites.
It was the storms.
Yeah. I'm actually...
But some of those others are like great conspiracy theories.
Well, I really love this one because AstraZeneca isn't even one of the approved vaccines in the United States. So, yeah.
I mean,
okay.
Who really needs approval, though?
Well, okay. Unfortunately, we live in the United States, and the FDA rules over what we can put into our bodies.
Yeah, I know that's the meth cooks.
You know, I mean, if there's any other than the Fed, the other most detrimental government agency in this country is the FDA. So
yeah, absolutely. Have you read Dr. Roark's book, Death by Regulation? Because if
I have not.
You absolutely should. That is the whole topic of the book. She's talking about how the FDA shaves about 18 years off every one of our lives.
Yeah.
Because of their regulations.
Actually, in the Western world, the United States is the only country that has a shrinking life expectancy out of all first world nations.
Yep.
Why? Yeah. I would put money on the fact that it's the FDA.
At least in part.
In part, yeah. Well, I mean, you look at the FDA putting together, nutritional, aspects, and then, 2 years later, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And, every other, thing that goes on, is usually the FDA's fault. And
being paid off by,
they walk around with bags of money and just open and waiting for corporations to dump money in there so they can go and become their little peddlers. And this is no surprise. This is nothing new. It's legalized extortion, and corporations love it because then they get an exclusive on something.
Mm-hmm.
The government's really good at extortion.
Oh, it really is.
One thing government's good at.
The unfortunate thing is I think they looked at the crime families in New York and Chicago, and instead of, trying to stop crime, they were taking notes.
I mean, I've said for years that's why the IRS went after Capone. It was because they didn't like the competition.
I would agree. Two different New Yorkers recently discovered that paintings hanging in their apartments were actually by a famous American artist. Who? Jean-Michel Basquiat, Jacob Lawrence, Georgia O'Keeffe, Mark Rothko, or Vincent van Gogh.
Is that actually one of the paintings?
Huh? Pardon?
Is that actually one of the discovered paintings in the picture?
I would assume so.
That does not look like Van Gogh.
No.
Well,
Van Gogh's not American.
It has to be an American artist.
Yeah, Van Gogh's
American.
So that takes out Van Gogh, and Georgia O'Keeffe is British, isn't she?
Isn't she from New Mexico?
She might be, actually.
Uh-huh.
I took art history in college for once.
Okay, so we're depending on you, Valerie. I never took art history.
There we go.
The teacher had two cats, and the cats' names were Monet and Manet, and I was like, "That's dumb." They're exactly the same name. I don't know. George O'Keeffe would be like the most obvious, I guess, because I don't even know who those other people are, except
Van Gogh.
So we're going O'Keeffe?
Yeah, might as well. Oh,
Jacob Lawrence.
That sounds like a fake name, like Joey Lawrence.
Well, and he's originally from the Upper West Side, explaining why New Yorkers had, he would be undiscovered in New York. It didn't look like anything special, honestly, one owner said. The colors were pretty. It was a bit worn. Oh.
Please let me find something like that hanging in this house.
Right? Exactly.
My luck, if I found something like that, I'd sell it at a yard sale for $3.
Right.
Probably. Yeah, exactly. Next question. The Army, which increasingly is dependent on female soldiers, has made an update to its uniform and grooming regulations.
Yeah, it's the hair.
Which of these following did the Army announce that women could do now? Carry colorful branded bags while in uniform.
No.
Forego camouflage while traveling through airports. Get highlights in their hair and wear ponytails. Use conservative shades of lipstick and nail polish. And wear stud earrings while not in field training or combat.
It's hair. So grooming standards in the Army for women's hair have been questionable, right? So per the Uniform Code of Military Justice, women have in the past been required to maintain a feminine appearance, number one. So when everybody watched G.I. Jane and she shaved her hair, she would have been court-martialed for that shit in actuality at the time.
Yep.
It would have been a violation. But because of more females of color enlisting, those standards and the appropriate and acceptable hairstyles to keep the hair off the collar have shifted, and now ponytails are acceptable.
Okay.
I didn't know the highlights, but hair was
There's actually 3 of these that the Army has now done. One of them that I know is use conservative shades of lipstick and nail polish because men are allowed to wear clear nail polish now.
Yeah, but that's been there for a really long time. That's not a new one.
According to some of my friends in the Army, this is now being advertised. So
So there's supposed to be 3 things, right? 3 things that were, which of the 3 things?
Hair is definitely one.
Okay.
I don't know what the third one would be.
What about lipstick? Were they allowed to wear lipstick before?
Yeah, but it did have to be conservative, like neutral colors, like nude colors.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it might be foregoing camouflage while traveling through airports, but it wasn't always a requirement.
no, because
Uniforms were, but
I
now
was always allowed to wear civilian clothes if I was traveling
Yeah,
in public airports.
they used to.
trainees can't though.
Trainee, like when they're
Basic training AIT, you couldn't.
Well,
You were
this is
required
true,
to travel
yeah.
in uniform.
That's
So
true.
it could be that, but it was
People
not.
is saying earrings.
Could be earrings.
okay.
Yeah, because I don't think women ever wore earrings.
No, you were allowed a religious icon if you wanted a cross or a Star of David necklace, and your wedding ring if you had that.
Yeah.
But earrings were not allowed when I was enlisted, so it could be earrings.
Let's go earrings, because
Hey!
here we go.
Tough one. Very restrictive. I get it, but
Which of the following did we want to talk more about the?
Look, if the military implements a regulation, just know it's abusive every time.
Yeah.
Broad spectrum across the board.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I would not
you're
disagree.
putting your life on the line, but you can't wear earrings. Well, now you can.
Now you can. Lucky you.
Studs,
Lucky
but
you.
not in combat situations.
Just not if somebody's shooting at you.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Try not
Which
to.
of the following Dr. Seuss books will no longer be published because of its use of offensive imagery? And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street, Green Eggs and Ham, Horton Hears a Who, The Lorax, and One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish.
It seems like Mulberry Street was on the list.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Yep, that's correct. So what does everyone think about the banning of, or not, the no longer publishing of the Dr. Seuss books? I misspoke there with banning.
It's the choice of the publishers and the people who own the.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. They said that they've had numerous complaints. Sales of this title have been down for years.
Mhm.
And it's no longer profitable to publish, and they're going to pull it out because of the offensive imagery.
What I think is that sales of that title are going to jump through the roof.
Yes.
What I think is they've just created what's going to be an incredibly profitable black market. And if
Absolutely.
anybody has those books, hang on to them for a hot minute.
Yeah.
In 2 years, you can make some money.
Yeah.
I also
absolutely.
think that, because of this faux outrage, Dr. Seuss books, not any of them that were on the discontinued list, have gone through the roof. So they're making double times right now.
Amazon is
Good for them.
selling out. I mean, so there are some Dr. Seuss titles. I don't think any of them were actually on the banned list because I think Amazon has already shipped all of those back. But there are Dr. Seuss titles that are unavailable on Amazon because people are buying them so quickly right now.
I have to
Look, I think you will enrich your life by reading banned books.
Yeah, I totally agree. But, you know, I mean, in one way, if the publisher says this is no longer profitable for them to sell, this is the free market speaking.
Yeah.
You know? So
It is, but I don't know that that changes that it is a banned book now. I don't know that changes it. I don't know that why it is banned ultimately changes the fact that it's been banned. So, I mean, hold on to the books, read the books. If you like the books, those books are still going to be available somewhere. Somebody is still going to have them somewhere. Read the book.
Yeah.
If you're smart, you'll find somebody who had it as an ebook.
Yeah.
Jared says, "Don't tell Susan we keep saying banned books." I get a little bit. I get a little bit weird about the term as well. I mean, they aren't really banned. It's not like the state is banning the books and saying you can't read them. It's just that they've taken them off the
It doesn't matter if the
market.
state bans it, or a local school bans it, or a library bans it, or the publisher bans it. It's still banned. Like,
well, but it's
literally
a business decision. If the publisher decides not to do it, I mean that doesn't matter how good or bad it is. If the publisher's decided to stop
I'm not
selling
saying it's a statement to how good or bad it is. I'm saying it's still banned.
I found out last week that our national chairman has written 7 books that are no longer in circulation, and he is very outraged that his 7 tax books were banned.
I mean, most of the time when you see a list of banned books, right, all of them fall under this in some way or another. There are books that only Germany has banned that you could get somewhere else.
Yeah.
Still a banned book. There were books that only France has banned that you could buy everywhere else. Still a banned book. I had the really fortunate pleasure of being able to meet and converse with and kind of work with Alexander Ginsburg for a little while when I was very, 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 very young. And the Soviets arrested him because of poetry, anti-government poetry, syntax. And then he wrote the White Book and had it smuggled out of Russia back in the Cold War days. Yeah, that was a banned book there.
Yeah.
You could buy it everywhere else, but it was there. I think that people get kind of caught up on when somebody says, oh, that was a banned book. Well, the U.S. government never banned it. It wasn't a banned book. The U.S. government is not the have-all and be-all. Like, no, clearly, if it was, we wouldn't be here. I don't care who banned it. If it's been banned anywhere, it's a banned book. It's not a statement to good or bad. It's just a fact.
So Anarchist Cookbook is a banned book?
It was at one point.
Oh, okay. I was like, we have a copy of that. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I will say that probably about 40% of the things that you find in the Anarchist Cookbook don't actually work. So,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're fun to try, though.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah. No, I tried the gasoline and styrofoam trick that's in there. And, you know, it works-ish, kind of. But, you know, hey.
All right.
God, who knows?
This week, a famous singer received a shot of Moderna virus vaccine after having earlier helped fund vaccine research. Who was it?
Dolly.
Beyonce, Bono, Bob Dylan, Reba, or Dolly Parton?
Dolly.
Yeah, it's Dolly Parton. This woman has been in the news so much. I mean, the state legislature in Tennessee wanted to put a statue up in front of the state house. She turned them down. She said, "After I'm dead, I'll consider it."
Oh, after you're dead, how are you weighing in?
I know. I think that was one of the best lines I've ever actually heard. But you know, I mean, she's been praised, she's been vilified. She has really been on the popularity roller coaster this year, and it's amazing how much. I mean, I don't follow a lot of artists or anything like that, but her name has just been unavoidable in the news in 2021. I mean, it's amazing. And there she is, getting the shot.
I mean, she still looks great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's in her I think, what is she, 74?
Something like that.
Yeah. We always say it takes a lot of money to look this cheap.
She has I am sure she has an excellent plastic surgeon. The chart shows the number for what for sale in the United States: bicycles, electric cars, homes, hot dogs, or N95 masks.
Was there something about hot dogs that I missed?
Being in the real estate industry as a home inspector, I'm saying this is homes, because there is a shortage of homes for sale on an epic level right now.
And that's in a lot of places.
That sounds reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, here in Nebraska, my daughter and son-in-law are getting ready to move, and they were thinking about coming back to our town, and which sounds like a play, right? You know, our town. But there's no houses for sale. I mean, none.
Jared's reviewing the housing market.
Yeah,
right
we know Jared's travail. So
but I mean, and it's you know, in North Carolina, we have something like 57 families moving to the Triangle area alone every single day, but we're only creating residential units or 37 residential units come on up for sale every single day.
Okay,
so we have a housing shortage of epic proportions, and even extended stay hotels are booked, and there's nothing for you to find.
So why is there
how
such
do
a
you
shortage?
handle new construction during a pandemic?
Yeah.
How do you do that? And how do you do that affordably when the costs of goods are through the roof?
Well, the other problem with new construction is that we have a terrible shortage in the trades.
Yeah.
You know, all over the country. And so you don't have the people who can do the plumbing or the electrical work or the construction. And if you don't have those,
especially when we start talking about diminished rotational flow from Canada and Mexico.
Yep. Well, lumber costs are going through the roof because nobody's repealed the lumber tariffs coming in from China yet. It's ridiculous. The cost of new housing is skyrocketing, not only because there's people clamoring to buy a home, but I mean, and in North Carolina,
if you're a builder, if you're a developer, so the cost of the supplies that you need are through the roof. The cost of the labor that you need is at a premium.
Yep.
And employment is down.
Yep.
So you build them to do what? To sell them to people who can't afford them and aren't going to get approved for them? The market's unstable.
This is the next housing bubble. I'm telling you, this is just going to be the next first step of the next recession in the United States. This is where it has happened before.
Well, here's the thing. We've been in a recession for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody sees it because we're reliant on credit. But that doesn't change the fact that it's been there. Plastic is not money, it's plastic.
I think ultimately we're headed towards another depression. But that's
exactly, because we're already in recession.
Yeah.
So the answer is homes.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Last one.
And what's happening in this photo?
Oh, Jesus.
Interior designer Nate Burkus is teaching a design workshop on Masterclass. A pastor at a megachurch favored by celebrities is leading a virtual service. Justin Bieber's stylist is giving consultants advice on how to reality on a new reality competition show, Hollywood Stylist. The actor Jason Sudeikis is accepting his Golden Globe Award, or a famous fitness YouTuber, the Tie-Dye Yogi, is hosting a virtual yoga class.
Well, that's Jason Sudeikis.
It is Jason Sudeikis. So
Okay, there we go.
There we go.
Maybe he's doing
the tie-dye yogi was good.
Yeah.
Yes. I have to say, New York Times definitely comes up with some very humorous false answers sometimes. So I will definitely give them that. So this week we got 10 out of 11. That's pretty good. We did better than 69% of those who took the quiz. 20% of quiz takers got the same score as us, and 11% did better than us. So I think that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So it is already 9:05. Do we have any announcements? Anything that we would like to say to kind of wrap up the evening?
You doing anything this weekend, Eric?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm getting married tomorrow.
Yay!
So originally we were going to have a big event, but our the venue that we were booked with has basically said that we're only allowed to have 37 individuals there. So we have decided to make our big party for our first year anniversary. And we're just taking our parents over to the courthouse, and we are getting married at the courthouse. And we're going to sign our little pieces of paper and inform the state that we intend to spend the rest of our lives together. So,
Well, love to you and love to your better half.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
Like, I love you, but
he
you know,
loves you so
I have
much.
strong feelings there.
But no,
Like, you did well.
Alex absolutely adores you.
Alex is amazing. Do you ladies know Alex? Have you had the pleasure?
I've never met Alex.
I have not. He sent me a friend request, and I was like, I can't accept this. We have to meet in person.
Actually,
You're gonna
Valerie, you
love
have
Alex.
met him. You met him in. No, you were. Wait, no, you weren't.
She wasn't in Orlando.
No, you weren't.
No,
in
I was
Orlando.
at home. That was I got a haircut today, and the last time I got a haircut was the day before the online convention. I cut my hair myself. So no.
and thank you everyone to the congratulations and well wishes on the comments. That's amazing. I appreciate that so much.
You're gonna love Alex. Like, seriously, he is
Well, I can't wait
brilliant and kind and generous and amazing.
Yes.
I can't
yes.
imagine anyone being better than Eric, but
Oh no, he is. Trust me, by a country mile.
Not better, but you guys are just, I don't know. I have a soft spot. I think you're an adorable couple. I always have. I've said it for a long time. This is not news to you.
Yeah. I can't believe, actually we just celebrated our 5 years of being together, and that was 2 weeks ago. And yeah, so it's amazing.
I can't believe it's been 5 years already.
I know. And he was politically homeless when we started dating, and now he's a diehard libertarian, card carrying, and everything else.
See, Eric's out there marrying for liberty.
that's how
Exactly.
that's how we have to do it. You get
There
married.
you go. I'm but unfortunately, we don't live in Utah, so I can only marry one. But
You are so lucky that it's Alex that you're marrying, because that comment might not play well. And he's just going to laugh.
oh, of course he is. We have the same exact sense of humor, just like you do. It's oh. So yeah, I'll have the I'll take the
Oh, congratulations. We want to see pictures.
Yeah.
yes. So we're actually our moms are just coming with the cameras and going to be snapping away, but we are going to be wearing our tuxedos to the courthouse tomorrow.
Awesome.
So that's yeah. So, but on that note, any other announcements or comments or?
No, it's been great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us,
Thanks for
Erin.
inviting me on. Thanks for having me on. It was fun.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure, and it has been so much fun. So everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week for another great episode of Libertarians at Large.